Hey everybody, Dark Skeleton here, and today we're going to be taking another look at a League of Explorers Legendary. Ironically, you would think that you'd take a look at this card and you'd say, wow, kind of a joke card, right? It's Sir Finley Mrrgglton, a 1-mana 1/3 Murloc. So you could say, oh sure, he's a Murloc, it can only go in Murloc decks, but look at its battle cry. Discover a new hero power, a new basic hero power, of course. So you're not really gaining more power, but you're gaining a different way to play the class that you already are playing. For instance, many people have been speculating that you can take this card and put it in Shaman decks for obvious reasons, because the Shaman Totem may not be totally necessary, or that useful, honestly, because Murloc Shaman tends to be pretty aggressive. However, another way to take a look at this card, which apparently very, very few people are agreeing with me on so far, is to use Sir Finley Mrrgglton in Hunter decks. Now, why would you use it in Hunter decks? Because you want to play Control Hunter, and you realize that the Hunter hero power isn't really that good for controlling the board state. Yes, you can go get that one goblin that lets you use your hero power on enemy minions, and that's okay, that's all well and good. But what if you just want to have more consistency? You just want to play Sir Finley Mrrgglton from turn 1 and then suddenly become like a Warlock Hunter or a Shaman Hunter. Get the totems or a Paladin's Guise or the Fire Blast Ping, where you can always ping off a guy instead of having to specifically rely on that one Hunter card that lets you use your hero power on minions. So we're going to go ahead and play around with this idea. What if you went ahead and created a Control Hunter deck based off Sir Finley Mrrgglton? Now, obviously, you can't really, how would you say, rely on Sir Finley Mrrgglton to give you a specific hero power, because it's a Discover card. So you get to choose one of 3. Now, I imagine when it says a new basic hero power, it means it can't give you the same one you already have. That would kind of suck 1 out of 9 times if you got the Hunter hero power as an option. But just about every other hero power in the game, with the exception of maybe Warrior, is really good for controlling the board state. And I mean, even Warrior, the hero power, it's defensive. It lets you survive. But probably the other 7 are the ones you really want to get if you're going to be playing a Control Hunter specifically. Druid hero power, ping a dude, mage, same thing. Rogue could be interesting because you get like infinite weapons, though that might not be as good because you still have the eagle horn bow. Priest for healing, interesting. Shaman Paladin, get the dudes, and Warlock might be the funniest of all of them. The Hunter and Warlock rivalry has always been hilarious because the Warlock hero power damages himself, but the Hunter hero power helps kill the Warlock even faster by dealing 2 damage to the enemy Warlock. But what happens when the Hunter becomes the Warlock and starts life tapping for card draw? Not really sure. It's an interesting concept, but you can't just like rely on being a Warlock Hunter, because once again, it's a Discover card. So you never know exactly what you're going to get, but you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to get one that's much more controlling than the Hunter's hero power. So that's the idea. Anyway, so moving on, we definitely need Sir Finley Mrrgglton. There are a few options in here. Not really any good Hunter cards if you're going to be trying to do the Control Hunter. Explorer's Hat, it just seems kind of gimmicky, but maybe we can play around with that as time goes forward. But perhaps we want more Discover cards for Beast's card draw. Also has the synergy with the Houndmaster, so sure, we'll try to use some of the new cards. So we're going to be guaranteed to have a 3-drop if we play a Jeweled Scarab. Unleash the Hounds, that's pretty much a given. Okay, if you're going to be doing Control, you probably want that. You may even want Arcane Shot, honestly. Gotta ask yourself, do you want to go more minion heavy, or do you want spells? Because Hunters do have a lot of good spells, and that's part of the reason why I've always been so attracted to the Control Hunter idea. Like, you get an Explosive Shot, it's actually pretty solid removal. Deadly Shot isn't bad. Kill Command can be used for removal, though it's usually used for face. The new Power Shot is really good, and I might even put 2 of those in if I was really building this. King's Elk for more card draw, not too bad, especially if we're going to curve higher. Eagle Horn Bow, and then Traps, I would say possibly Snake, Bear, and I know Freezing Trap is really good, sapping things isn't just my thing. I kind of prefer to do the honest, just run my opponent out of stuff. From a personal standpoint, though, I am aware freezing trap is good. Um, explosive trap. That would be interesting. Now, do you want to go ahead and make this a lock and load deck? That's a question. Or it could even be snipe. Whatever. Snipe, why not? It catches people off guard. Okay, so let's see. Kill commands. Well, if... Wait. We need animal companions, of course. So, even if you're playing like a control hunter deck, it's probably not going to look too different than a regular hunter deck, I think. Because a lot of the core cards are just that good. We do have enough beasts, so the kill command should be there. Deadly shot, maybe pass on that for right now. Ram Wrangler, though, that's pretty solid. Tundra Rhino is actually surprisingly okay. Ball of Spiders. It's got the interesting mechanic of kind of drawing 3. Oh, you know what card probably goes pretty well if you start falling behind? Dread Scale. Not too bad. Deal 1 damage to all all minions on the field. Excuse me. Or is it actually champions too? Nope, just minions. Okay. So, if you're gonna call it control, you gotta have some kind of late game. Otherwise, it's just kind of a mid-range deck. So let's see what else we can get there. And maybe we draw back some of the early game cards. Now, Web Spinner was also an option. Some people don't like playing it with King's Alec, because if you play King's Alec and you get the Web Spinner, then you kind of screw yourself over, because you won't get the card draw. Piloted Shutter, of course. And a Healbot. One couldn't hurt. Especially if you're going to go for that. Ooh, Azure Drake. Okay. So I think this is a point where we actually try to cut some cards back. I think 2 Jeweled Scarabs might actually be overkill. And is this really better than, say, a Haunted Creeper? Probably not, in all honesty. Yeah, I kind of feel Haunted Creeper above that. It's just more power instead of having to wait forever to play something. Now, do you want 3 traps or 2 traps? Oh, I completely forgot about the Mad Scientist. Whoops. Okay, we'll get there. So maybe 1 power shot. 2's a little overkill. And maybe you don't need the antique heal bot, really, if you think about it. Okay, sure. And let's see here. Mad Scientist. Alright. So I guess in the end, if you start building a control hunter deck, it's going to look a lot like a mid-range deck. There are some pretty fun ideas, like with specifically, what's that one card called? Lock and Load, where you can just play spells all day, and eventually the lock and load can become a little bit ridiculous. And that might actually be worth considering, because you can get a lot of card draw off of that. Emperor Tharzan is also a reasonable pickup at some point. Probably want Azure Drake. Okay, maybe you just take out the 1 King's Alec. Oh no, maybe you leave it in. Maybe you take out the Haunted Creeper. Yeah, I think you take out 1 Haunted Creeper. King's Alec. Azure Drake. Ram Wrangler. And Tharzan, just so I can call it a control deck. And what last card? That would, probably go pretty good with the Lock and Load, actually. Lock and Load Tharzan? It's a thought. Alright, so there you go. Sir Finley Mrrgglton obviously isn't going to completely change how a class is played, but if you want to try to play a class in a way that is very much non-standard, you can try to do that with Sir Finley Mrrgglton. And on top of that, he's actually a pretty solid body. A 1/3 for a 1-drop does counter a lot of enemy 1-drops. And, if you have cards to back it up, like Frost Bolts if you're playing Mage, or traps, maybe like Explosive Trap or Bear Trap or Snake Trap, then yeah, it can actually be just fine as a one drop, and it's a fun one drop, and you should play around with Sir Finley Mrrgglton as well. So give it a try when the set comes out. I know I will, because it's just really fun. And yeah, that's it for this video. So I've been Dark Skeleton. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.